Now, to shed more light on the Iran crisis and its effects on oil prices in Nigeria is an energy economist who is also Associate Professor of Digital Economics at University of Abuja, Dr. Chukwuemeka Figu Ike. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's begin. What are the likely short, medium and long-term impacts of the current Middle East crisis on global oil markets and on Nigeria's economy?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, in the short run, of course, you're going to have this spike in anxiety psychologically, and in the short run also, thank God for OPEC's meeting yesterday. But their strategy is simply to ensure stability. Remember, in Nigeria, ours is about inflation, transmission of inflation. It would not really, so to speak, stop the speculation that the pump price of petrol would not rise. In the immediate short run, it may not rise, okay, but ultimately may shoot above the 1,000 mark. Now, in the medium term, we are hoping the Middle East crisis would subside. We already know the end goal, which
you know, when you say subside, we don't know whether it's going to run into weeks or months, and, because the U.S. said it's going to be somehow maybe
for a month,
a week. I mean, probably more a week, I guess.
Well, just on a positive side, let's assume that the conflict spans no more than a week. No more than a week. I suspect it's going to be a month, but I assume it's just a week. So just be rest assured that the prices may be stable, my personal opinion, based on data available. But if it shoots to a month, definitely, we know that there's going to be under review later this March. There's going to be under review. So expect prices would maybe, internationally, in terms of the dollar benchmark rise. But just know that here in Nigeria, expect that it's going to be a rise because we have this mix here. Dangote, for instance, is speaking locally, Naira platform. If you source from an NNPC, but if you source from other non-government channels, he has to pay in dollars. So that second option is sensitive to the exchange rate. So everybody's eyes are practically on all scenarios.
So now, with what we have, we don't know how long it's going to last, but what oil price scenarios should Nigeria prepare for? And what specific contingency measures should government and industry prioritize under each scenario?
Okay. Because you see, what is playing out now played out a couple of years ago under the Bush presidency. And but they are cautious, so that means it may not drag for too long. Having said that, you see, it may shoot up to 80 plus. It may shoot up to 80 plus.
Because now we are seeing about 70 something.
Yes, it may shoot up to 80 plus. OPEC Plus has come in and said, okay, hey, do you know what? Let's pump a little bit. But
you think 206,000 barrels will make a difference?
You see, we are discussing from the global perspective, but looking at impact in Nigeria. That's the catch. Now, Nigeria, you and I know, and some other viewers know, cannot really shoot up her production daily. You know that. So in the short run, no. So if the price goes up, yes, the federal government would, take in so much more in terms of gains, but the common person may pay more. Why? Because you see, we have this 40% window to import, but that's guaranteeing an ideal situation. But we all know that that ideal situation is not the case.
And because when you talk about importation, I think some gas companies, gas or oil companies are actually closing their operations around that particular. Then we should also talk about this 20.7 million barrels per day transiting through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
What would be the immediate ripple effects on supply, shipping costs, and global oil prices if the area were, effectively controlled or disrupted by, IRGC following, high-profile assassination, that we've seen?
Yes, economic policy, you can't throw away two platforms: historical analysis and quantitative analysis. They come together. Now, historically, when this had happened, that same strait, what played out was militarization. There was military escort to ensure the transportation, to ensure supply, to ensure we don't have shocks in the energy market. That definitely will play out, is going to play out. Now, the reactions we are getting from Iran, her unit, it's normal, it's expected. However, there are some terms I don't want to use, but you see, for the US and other interests, because all is about interest, it's a game of interest, win, 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 lose, lose, lose. Now, for those prosecuting this quote unquote war, they're going to ensure that that strait, that transmission, that transportation, the flow of crude oil continues without disruption. So
that's if
the impact
Iran allows
price,
it, because it's closed right now.
Pardon?
That's if Iran allows it, because it's closed right now.
Yes, but we cannot just run an analysis based on what is happening, because even those who are closing and those who want to force it open militarily, they will also look back, hindsight, what had happened before. You and I know that had always been a constraint. So if it remains short beyond, today is Monday, let's say Nigerian time, it remains short today, Tuesday, then the anxiety cripples into most of the markets. But be rest assured that, I'm not speaking for them, but be rest assured that those interests, those propellers of those interests will ensure that that place is open. So for us here in Nigeria, what can we put in place to ensure that we mitigate the effect? I've already mentioned it, that you see, our daily production cannot rise beyond what we have now in the short run. So whatever shocks come in, price increase is guaranteed. I'm sorry, thank God I'm not an employee of the industry, but price increase is guaranteed. Now, if
you say you're not an employee of the way, so you won't be affected. But you have to understand that
yes.
You talked about that in terms of maybe possibly government budget, with the budget is somehow below the current rate of oil right now. But it might come, they might maybe experience a little windfall. But what happens to inflation? How does it affect goods now? Because cost of energy spreads, it has a multiplier effect on cost of goods and services.
Wow.
So how does this play out? If this the ordinary Nigerian that is actually struggling with cost of living, what happens next? Yeah,
and they are really the ones who are watching this program with so much interest. So the thing is, OPEC met, yes, but their strategy is not really about global inflation per se. Their immediate strategy is stability, which of course ultimately affects global inflation that could be transmitted to the local economy. Now, for us here, the thing is, you see, with this constraint that we may not be able in the short run, increase as expected from OPEC plus. That has introduced another shock in itself. That policy has introduced a shock in itself. Now, we know that every household in Nigeria, whatever the structure, low, medium, high up there, it's feeling the inflationary pressures. Now, this crisis brings another layer of stress. So, we're going to have a scenario where maybe there might be interest in pushing out more of the non-crude oil transport systems, maybe push out more buses, push out more alternatives.
Already we don't have enough of
The impact is not felt.
You understand?
So that is
that's one of the solutions you're suggesting.
Yeah, but the thing is, another one which we cannot even practice would be to ensure that we cut out the.
But do you see that the price of crude oil getting worse? I mean, the price of fuel getting worse. I mean, going beyond what we're actually buying.
That's the thing. You see, that's why I said Dangote, that seems to be like a star child right now. Okay, they are importing crude oil, for instance. They import crude oil via non-government
What I actually
channels.
mean, you think it will get to as much as how much? In your
I know it's going to be above max 1,050 naira. Thank God I'm recorded live. Max 1,050 naira. Max 1,050 naira. Why? How I wish Dangote would have everything. See, apart from these short-term measures, the government could also ensure that all the crude oil stock Dangote needs is locally sourced. That cuts us off from the effect of the exchange rate for this period. So I'm already offering number 2 solution. Okay, so for this period, hey, let's just make sure that whatever volatility we're experiencing in the exchange rate sector, we can insulate our energy sector. Okay, let's make sure, let's channel all crude oil. Look at what a country in one of the foreign countries.
I'm afraid, Dr. Chukwuemeka.
Yes.
Ifegu, I'm afraid we have to leave it there.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,